Good afternoon to everyone again, and a very warm welcome to the first session on NASSCOM SME Inspire series. Many of you must have aware about the NASSCOM SME Inspire Awards, which happened for the first time in 2023. During that process, we have come across numerous case studies in different segments where our SME members are doing a fantastic job. In this program, our aim is to bring those case studies from the SME members, highlighting their success, work done in a particular area, and sharing it with the community to inspire others. Today's topic is talent engagement with the Gen Z workforce and strategies to be an attractive workplace. To throw light on this, we are privileged to have today subject matter experts from Matelio INC, AccessCAD India, and Maximess Digital. So without delaying further, let me introduce you the host of the session, Dr. Kanupriya Manchanda. Kanupriya is a Vice President People at Infobeans Limited, a 1800 plus people company, which is primarily working on the tech services, highlighting global, serving global customers, and is headquartered in Indore. She is an experienced HR professional with demonstrated history of working in tech industry with exceptional leadership skills in HR engagements, talent management, talent sourcing, and performance management. We are privileged to have you, Kanupriya, today. Now, I request you to take the session forward and introduce us, all the panelists and the guest speaker. Over to you, Kanupriya.
Thank you so much, Saurabh. Indeed, a great pleasure, everyone. I am going to be your host and host for the session ahead, and delighted to talk on a topic which is very, very close to my own heart. I did my doctorate in employee engagement, and during the entire process, the thing that I learned most about is engagement is not about the activities that you do in the office. Engagement is not about events or happenings. It is about the connection that you make, right? And this connection today is what we are going to focus on, and especially in now the changing era of significant demographic shifts, evolving generations, multiple people coming in. I think it is the TikTok generation, right, where the span is very, very, very small. So similarly, the relationships that we want to build in as employee and employers, as team members, as a family, brings in a very different landscape. I would like to thank NASSCOM for giving me the opportunity to welcome such an esteemed and a diverse audience, as well as the speaker panelists that I have today. Let me take the opportunity to first welcome Dr. Reena Bhansali, coming from Jodhpur, the beautiful city. Around Reena is being a renowned psychologist and HR strategist, focusing on psychology as her core focus area. And with Gen Z, I guess this is an area where it actually takes a different ball game altogether, Reena. So we would love to hear your experience of past 8 years as a strategic HR professional, contributing as VP of Human Resources as Matelio, which is a US-based software company. Reena holds her doctorate in human development and is a certified expert in human capital analytics and metrics. Welcome, Reena, on the board. The next I have is Amit Shah, the promoter and director of AccessCAD. Amit brings in a beautiful versatility here in the panel, heading both the HR as well as the finance function and being the promoter of the organization. I think that's the beauty in SMEs that we all have, as managing the entire show from end to end becomes very close to. So you brings Amit is going to is heading a team of 300 plus members spread across Mumbai, UK, and USA and Australia. With more than 20 plus years of experience, I guess the highest among all of us here, Amit brings in, has been leading the AccessCAD entire spectrum and bringing valuable insights into cultural characteristics and levers of building a self-motivated team. I guess the team has been standing out and been recently won the NASSCOM SME Inspire Award for excellence in HR practices. So kudos to Amit, you and the entire team there.
Thank you.
And last, but one of a very different techie mind coming us with is starting from an engineer to a management enthusiast to an entrepreneur. Friends, welcome Rahul Bajait, the co-founder of Maximess with me today. Rahul has been leading the brand and digital product engineering services. He's acting as the chief strategy officer and is driving the human resource system and contributing to the overall growth and momentum for the organization. Rahul is also a very active socialist person and is the co-founder and president of Praveg, a platform that helps businesses to accelerate. Also very active member of Sampark and a charter member with Thai Nagpur. So welcome team. I'm glad and you guys have really made my role easy. I'm just going to push in some real tough questions. So to the audience, we would like to have the session more open-ended and bringing in some real tangible tips, not really the theory and the gyan, but bringing in something as what these industry experts have been implementing in their organizations that have been of a grand success. And as well as they will share our own stories where we had failed, the challenges that we would have faced in and the learnings coming up. Spreading across the entire engagement through the entire team member life cycle, starting from attracting to onboarding to retaining, and especially with the how do we cope up with the new hybrid workplace as an environment to focus on. And do not miss, stay tuned till the end. We are going to have some real good rapid fire questions down here for our panelists to keep it more exciting. And I'm sure Reena, Amit and Rahul, it should not get you guys gets nervous. I'm not going to be that hard on you guys as well. So let's begin with that. So without any further ado, let me start, Amit, with you to asking you the first question, whereas in this grand theater of talent acquisition landscape, now the stage has been moving to smaller towns and cities, right? Large corporations make their strategic moves. The once affordable workforces grows dearer. In this cutthroat market, right, how do small and medium enterprises employ their ingenuity to captivate the talent and employing unconventional methods to attract? So you based out of Mumbai, you have been competing against all the big brands. How is your team strategizing to attract talent?
Excuse, can you hear me?
Yes, Amit, loud and clear.
Right, okay. So first, thank you to the NASSCOM team and yourself, Dr. Kanupriya, for your help in organizing this conversation. The topic, which in my opinion is right at the front and center of the challenges and opportunities for SME IT companies in India. I wish I had a Ramban answer to your question, but we all continue to learn, right? So here goes. See, competitive compensation, benefits, and growth opportunities are probably the top factors for today's team members to consider selecting an organization. And all the firms are competing to offer their best. So how does one stand out? From our experience, there are two aspects that SMEs need to be aware of from the point of view of potential candidates and existing team members as well. First is trust. By default, as compared to a larger organization, there is a bigger trust gap between an SME and a potential employee. Thus, for us SMEs, mindfully designing our processes, behaviors, and communication to serve this key purpose could prove very useful. There are dozens of examples where SMEs can build trust, starting with something as simple as how we treat candidates during the interview process and the clarity of conversations that we can have with them. See, SME business uncertainty is also a big reality that SMEs face on a regular basis. Having a conservative financial approach, being careful of not promising something or coming across as dangling a carrot without the real intention of fulfilling those. These are some of the things to be avoided. Compliance is another area. HR, financial, software compliances, they not only stave off legal challenges, but also help build trust too. So the first thing is consciously building trust can be an important initiative by the SME. Second, scalable culture. Now, the culture of an SME organization has a lot to do with the beliefs and behaviors of its promoters and founders. By nature, they are high energy and action oriented. However, their energy and some approaches may not be scalable or even desirable across the organization, which leads to the inevitable outcome of being an unattractive place to work. So, in my opinion, it in fact could be very useful to take a step back, call in your key management team, and in conjunction with them, carefully define the culture, shared values, beliefs that you wish to promote in your organization. And that may mean possible changes to the promoters' ways as well. But once done, you will now have a set of self-motivated ambassadors demonstrating this culture across the organization, thereby making it scalable and self-fueling. These two factors, building trust and a scalable culture, I believe will stand in good stead through the organization journey and likely become crucial differentiators as word spreads in comparison with even the biggest of firms. So that's a little bit of our experience. Doctor, thank you.
I think very true, Amit. So this happen. I think defining the culture, what you rightly said, bringing different perspective, because probably people sitting in the same boardroom would have a different definition of the culture within the organization.
Correct, exactly.
So, I think building on to your idea, Reena, if we look at, there is a lot of shift that we see towards diversity, equity, and inclusion heading in forward. So as the hiring trends have changing significantly, we are no longer, the candidates are also no longer looking for roles that they are trying to fill, or recruiters who are kind of identifying a position to contribute on. In your view, your company, when it comes to implementing and promoting DEI, and what policies does the company focus on? Are there any conscious areas or priorities or practices that are implemented that helps the organization stand out when it comes to diversity?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you, Kanupriya. You've really come up with great, I mean, the topic that definitely sort of wonderful topic from NASSCOM, and Kanupriya, you've done a wonderful job, and especially keeping three of us, on toes. So that is one of the great things you could do. But see, before coming, like I always say that I am a psychologist by choice and HR by chance. So prior to this HR, 8-9 years back, when I actually started working full-fledged HR, I have been, for 20 years, I have been a psychologist, right? And the majority of the cases what I used to get revolve around these differences at the workplaces, or maybe not being included, be any area. And that is where the GI policy is something which I feel the organization firmly believes into, because that's where we started building all our policies on. And I would say GI policy here is properly drafted, written, circulated, which reflects a perfect balance of gender and multicultural representation. And and of course, we are making a conscious effort of it. And that's what, like, I guess we have to, because still there is lot of lacking, when though maternity leaves are a mandate by government and we all have to follow, right? But does the task get over after 6 months? No, it doesn't, right? So after 6 months, there's a flexi working. And it's flexi working is so much into the culture that the people, because people are not just getting the maternity leave, people are also getting paternity leave here. Right, because the fathers also have to go along. While, like, if I see my gender criteria would be just 30% female, reflecting me coming here and talking on behalf of my company itself shows the diversity and everything, right? But we celebrate paternity as we celebrate maternity, not just because it's mandated by the government. So it starts from there, and then be it religion-based, be it because it's a US company, be it US laws, be it India laws. Keeping this thing as a base, we have everything on place. We have a psychologist and a lawyer on board, and then there is an independent consultant who would check on these DI metrics. Whatever you have to submit these DI metrics. So that even though company is mid-size, the vision is that size. So I guess this is need of an hour, because maybe when we go to degrees and all, and we keep hearing about the politics and the workplace politics and this and that. If we start from this now, maybe when we reach there, we will have the vision across the board. So yes, CIE is extremely important, and it is everywhere. The perks are attached for the recruitment and HR team about the diversity thing. Then we have an anti-sexual harassment committee, the prevention of anti-sexual harassment committee. People are post-trained and with proper DIE circulated for it.
Very exciting, Reena. And I'm sure, like you mentioned about having the paternity benefits. What do you feel, Reena, when it comes to the youth? Do they really conscious, like in your interview processes, recruitment, does candidates come forward and ask, like, what is the percentage of different genders? And does our forms really have an option, like when an onboarding form does a new member field, is the gender still, do we have male, female, or do we have an option of third gender, or do not want to disclose? Do you think these things have been implemented and ingrained in these systems?
I won't say that so much so it should be, but yes, definitely when it comes to interviewing and all, what happens most of the time, people would feel, oh, I work equally, but because she's female, she's going to go on maternity, or maybe she's going to get married. So I will get the difficult project to work on, but she will get the equal salary because of all those women empowerment, fiasco that is happening. A simple thing like that. Or maybe a female, if she's not deserving and if she doesn't get the promotion as equal to what men has got, the first thing would be, oh, because I'm a female, I'm not getting it. So definitely, if these questions do come in, and especially when we are looking for the leadership role, right? So these kind of questions do come from the interview that side. I mean, because the mindset is like that. Or maybe at times for the religion, as simple as that religion, like just for an example, when we celebrate Eid, Diwali, Holi, Christmas, all, and at the same stature. So whenever we post our Eid picture, just for an example, people would say, oh, you're doing that also. I mean, just these kind of remarks. And that this O is something which we want to stop. And that's where when we started formulating this DI policy, it's like this O has to stop because every religion is important. Right. So the base started from there. And yes, there are certain, like, orientations and all, and there are so much you and cry about these things. That definitely don't have it in our form, but yes, of course, this definitely we have.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Reena. And I think you touched out again on a very important point that O has to stop, that kind of element. And I think it begins right from top to bottom, right? It has to first be corrected as HR leaders and practitioners so going in. So coming to you, Rahul, so coming from a technology background, let me ask something related to more to HR tech to you. So in the current era, right? So experience is the key, right? And there has been a lot of focus that is coming on to using technology and digital tools to enhance the HR processes and communication, especially managing with the Gen Z, right? So any specific, again, your initial thoughts on this, and then if you could also elaborate on any specific tool or platforms that you guys have been using and it has created an impact.
Yeah, sure. So that's a fantastic question, Kanupriya. Thank you so much. And before coming to answer to that question, let me take this opportunity first to thank NASSCOM for having me here. It's a great initiative for SMEs to put their views forward. And it's really, really an honor to be part of the eminent panelists and share my views over here. So so coming to that question, this young generation, the Gen Z, what we say, is a by default a very tech savvy generation, and hence the technology and digital tools has a very, very important role to play when it comes to effectively communicating with this generation. We have embraced various tools and platforms for the same, and to create a seamless experience for our associates and the would-be associates also. So I would like to highlight specifically few specific examples as you asked for the specific ones. The very first tool I would like to talk about is the Yammer. Okay, we implemented this tool when the COVID strut. So, what was the key challenge in the COVID time when we all were working remotely and we are still working in hybrid manner? It is the lack of informal interactions within workforce. What is, it is working against, creating that connection as you talked about. Like engagement is all about the connection with the organization. And, when we say organization, it is all about the people of the organization. So how to, counter that lack of informal communication. And that is where we were thinking about that. And we introduced this tool Yammer. It's like an internal social media tool for your employees, for all your people, and wherein they can share they can discuss all sort of topics. They are not necessarily to be the formal ones. They can share they can discuss the informal topics. They can celebrate their birthdays and discuss on anything and share light moments. So that is one tool I have observed that has worked phenomenally well in my organization. Then the second example I would like to talk about is the Microsoft Teams, Microsoft Team, to be very specific. So I think now we all are aware about this tool. In earlier days, the work were majorly used to happen with the physical files and
Rahul, I guess we lost you.
It asks for a more integrated approach, and for this, MS Team is a awesomely incredible tool. It binds your whole, be you are operating in a remote way or hybrid way or work from office. Okay, it tightly needs that digital environment where it facilitates you to do multiple things. You can, it facilitates you to do data management, data sharing, task management, approvals, polls, workflows, and whatnot, right? So, and even we access Yammer through MS Team. Okay, so that's the integrated approach that this tool brings, and a great tool catalyzing the connect with the next gen workforce. And then there is a third example I would like to talk about is your social media tool. So the initial two were all about your existing associates or associates who are part of your organization. But then there are many like there is a prospect associates, those are out there. So for them, I think it is very important to leverage all these social media tools. I have observed, like I have also gone through that, like as a SME, many times we, realize it late to leverage these tools from the perspective of the workforce, the prospective workforce. But yes, I think as a part of our social media strategy, you need to have a plan in place which is directed towards this prospective workforce, the next gen workforce. So then there are many more tools out there, but specifically these three I would like to mention, which has created a greater impact for us.
Great. I think very practical tip. Yammer I've also personally used. So I think it gets a great platform to collaborate. I have a question from the audience also. Sumit Paul asking us, how is Yammer different than Slack? So wanted to check. Rahul, have you guys used Slack?
Frankly speaking, I haven't used Slack, but I am aware about that a bit. So Slack is a kind of collaboration tool. And Yammer is a perfectly that social media platform which you can internally use within organization. Slack, to an extent, you can compare with MS Team. The MS Team has the ability of the channel management. You can create multiple channels out there and manage your work, because this new type of working which has which we were forced to adopt from last couple of years. It was like when you ping somebody, okay, it is expected that he should immediately reply you back, but then that probably may be a hindrance to the productivity of the next person. He might be doing he might be, busy in the middle of any of his tasks, and probably once he finished that task, then he might prefer to respond you back. So this is where this collaboration tool, this channel mechanism works better. I think Slack has, I think the very first tool probably that has brought this kind of working, and gradually MS team, I think, has increased market share these days. So that is what is my interpretation about the comparison of these tools.
True, very true. So I think rightly said. So as coming in comments and options as well. And so NASSCOM, the SME initiative, also is running a channel on Slack. It also helps Slack. I think the best feature is that with different groups, different people within the organization, you can create different community channels where you can talk on a particular topic and then it also helps you to keep a track of the conversations, which gets even pretty much lost in the plethora of emails that we look at.
Right, absolutely.
Right. So Reena, coming back to you also on building on the same side of using tools and technologies, what are the best practices that SMEs use to embrace to shifting the desires and expectations of upcoming workforce to hold on your star performers? How do you guys retain any specific initiatives? Because it's especially IT industry has been seeing the pendulum swings throughout. Like we were casually chatting around, looking from one offer to another. This is a 30% hike. I get another 20% on top of it, and that is where the market is heading to. So as SME, how do we do about it?
So so that is what what's happening is, like, everybody has been talking about the way Indian youth is going just behind money, and it's all about money. And of course, money is one of the prime factors. Competitive salaries are one of the prime factors. But retention, when it comes to retention, since ours is a mid-sized company and we have like more than 50 to 70 people, I would right now, if I see, they are working with us since 7 to 10 years, and so much so that there are some people who would be working since 20 years till now. Nothing different. I would say nothing different, except that an engineer also needs good work, challenging work, trust, like already Amit has spoken about the trust. So when company, like I always use the hashtag native to niche. That's where the company moves to. So when company moves from native to niche technologies, they took the people along them. So they were given chance, they invested in learning, the employers invested in learning. So they had chance to pick their technology. And when they picked their technology, they had 2-3 things. One, of course, the employers had to give the competitive salary, because no matter they chose their technology. Second, the trust factor came. And third, the working, taking salary, these people were groomed and trained into the newer technology. Right. So it's like, yes, competitive salary is definitely very important, but if you give them the challenging work, and if you ask them about they get to choose their project, they get to choose their technology, and then there was a process. But that's where the star performers are still star performers, and they are with the companies, with the company. And apart from that, of course, they were like, the flexi working is there, the automation, they have the autonomy, they have the power, they lead. They are not one in the herd, because in a mid-sized company, you get to lead. But if you go somewhere and they understand this thing, because practically they are starting departments or teams for maybe projects. So that human side of, getting that kind of appreciation also matters. So yeah, I think that is how retention. I mean, like 8 years back, no shame in saying we had 36%, and I've already spoken to you about it. 36% was my attrition, and today it's 12.8 last year. So that's a very serious thing. And these small things only matter, because engineers you get them a good work and they'll stay back.
Good. So I think very important point, Reena, where it comes to touching on the human side of it and kind of building the relationship and focusing on fostering them. I am happy that from the audience, I'm getting a lot of questions, and we would be jumping in there very shortly. Amit, would like to understand from you also when it comes to retaining talent, right? There are very other skills. So upskilling was one area that we were talking during our informal conversation the other day. How do you feel that holding and rebuilding the social capital within the organization, right? How does your team navigate to that challenge? And increasingly relying on digital interactions, is the need for moving to a hybrid work model sustainable? Are we able to meet it? Does that helps in retention? Would love to hear your thoughts on it.
Right. Okay. So I would like to share two perspectives on this question. And in fact, I would also like to hear different views from our other panelists too. Now, social capital, if I understand correctly, is the value that an organization derives from collaboration and camaraderie amongst its team members. Now, to be honest, and I'm going to play a little bit of a contrarian role here, we are struggling to derive appropriate social capital from remote or even hybrid working. Do not get me wrong. We consider the ability to work anywhere as a blessing. It has helped us immensely through the pandemic, and it has been actually the cause of our survival as well. And we continue to implement it quite significantly as I speak. However, as time has passed by, we are increasingly witnessing a little bit of a fatigue, not in individuals, but possibly, how should I say it, in agile collaboration. I do not know if that is a term even, which is impacting the overall efficiency at some stage. Our attrition levels definitely are a little bit higher when it comes to hybrid working situation as well. So social capital, in our judgment, gets built when individuals are together for each other and a common goal. I need to be invested in you, and it needs to be felt. We are not sure if it can be effective digitally, and that's why I would love to hear from other panelists as well. And you mentioned in your question that remote working, yes, it is here to stay. It is an important armory in our repertoire, and I think it is going to be one of those aspects where each organization will have to design a methodology which is suitable for itself based on its business model. In my opinion, in our opinion, the question that SMEs should be asking possibly is not whether hybrid is better or work from home is better or work from office is better. The question probably is what is best suited to be able to take care of the customers with appropriate quality and efficiency, because ultimately that is an important purpose, or if I can say the only purpose of an organization in that sense. But if there has to be a choice between quality and efficiency, then we know that it's a difficult question, and we all know what the possible answer is going to be. So if your processes can ensure quality, efficiency, and innovation in a cutthroat market along with hybrid working, then that would be the most perfect situation, because hybrid working is by far the most opted and the most desired work mode as far as team members are concerned. But to be really honest, I believe the jury is still out on this one. Most importantly, it will differ from organization to organization, business model to business model, and even team to team. So that's my view on this. It may be a little bit contrarian, but that's been our experience. Doctor.
Right. So I think Reena is getting tempted to answer, jump in around here. So Reena, I think if you could build further on the way things have been adapted within your organization on the hybrid side of it. And are there anything specific, whether than icon rewards or the happiness index or flexibility, that has been adapted in the organization to foster that connection and satisfaction among the workforce in the hybrid work environment?
Yeah, so the reason why I got tempted was because Amit had, just touched the nerve. So yes, all the UN cry about remote working, hybrid working, and we cannot, escape from that. At the end of the day, there's just three eras: pre-pandemic, pandemic, and post-pandemic. And I feel if I leave the most difficult phase, that was the pandemic part, if I leave that, I feel this is the most difficult part now, because now people have learned that they can work, they can work from anywhere. But the problem is during that time, we were all scared. We were all scared we will lose the job. We were scared for life. And there was a different way. Everybody was connected with each other. I know we companies like us must have sent, I don't know how many COVID care packages because there was scarcity. We have done a lot of things. The term insurance came, medical policy came. For a mid-sized company like mine, many things came and everybody was into it. People were not thinking of, working at multiple organizations or giving the fraud papers. And like a few days back, I just told you that more than HR, we have become 007 now. We are James Bond, right? The most of the things what we are doing is like paperwork, paper checks, we have a separate compliance department now. And then we come to know after 2 months, still the paperwork was so wrong that the person has fabricated everything. So there are so many challenges which we face, and it has nothing to do with the person is sitting remote or it's hybrid or something like that. No, there's a side here that people who are working in the office, others might think, they think that, because they're sitting with the manager, they're sitting with the stakeholders, so they get the leverages out of it in appraisal. The people who are sitting and working remote, in office, people feel, oh, they can do their family, they have their family time, they are doing their, whatever work they have to do. We have to be on toes here for 9 hours. So no matter what you give, people would have, pluses and minuses and whys for everything. Nothing great we do, and I'm sure everybody else is doing this thing. A little thing like video participation is compulsory. I mean, people hitch for that. And most of my court cases we have come to know when we made this rule of making video participation mandatory, because they were friend doing the coding and I'm the face. A small thing like that. Or maybe a simple thing, because see, it's a small company. I mean, we have 250 people right now, but there's a connection. The connection is like every morning on our WhatsApp group. I mean, yes, I was reading about all this Slack, Trello, and all these things. I feel in our case, the best way to collaborate with each other is WhatsApp. Every morning, 8:30, when my CEO comes and wishes the person's birthday, which my HR team gives him 1 day in advance, people look forward for that because we personally come in, and then when everybody is wishing that person, so there's no difference between the person you are celebrating the birthday here, the person is sitting in maybe down south and he is also getting celebrated, right? A small thing like that. And then there are a lot of events. Now, earlier the events were on site. Now events are, we are meeting like this, right? Same way our hackathons have become like this. From even the cooking competition has become like this. We don't do rangoli, by the way. The HR, never had the rangoli competition, but we definitely have these kind of social competitions, which because these developers are done with all tech challenges. So we at times do simple things. Even for cricket, person from South had come and he was part of our cricket competition. Earlier, it was just between Jodhpur and Jaipur. Now I have 90 people there in down south. Expecting that we don't do anything for them is not possible. So of course, they were also part of cricket team. So we have done these small things and which keep them challenged. And of course, then there's a small 2-3 days you get to work in office. So the company invites these people, they sit there in the office, work with the team, and we take care of it. So HR budgets are allocated that way. So I would not go on to a big flashy thing like, doing one annual meet doesn't make the connection. Smaller things like video participation or this WhatsApp contact or calling them for 2-3 days and working at times once a year, calling them 2-3 days, working with the team, maybe once a quarter, which I feel really helps us out. And otherwise, I think this is a very open-ended question that no matter how much you try, this is going to be there.
I think very true, very true. I think most of the time when we think like doing a flagship event where you pull in everybody, there is so many things associated with on that particular day of the event that you actually not get time to spend with each other. So the connection, the bond doesn't really dwell in there. Good. So jumping on to the real talk of the town, AI, right? It is no more an option, right? For organizations. The global economic impact was about to reach estimating 13 trillion by 2025. So
Yeah.
Rahul, would like to understand from your end, is the company started utilizing or leveraging AI to engage with the workforce? Are there any real implementations happening on the ground? And others also feel free to chip in case, is there any practice, any platform, or any small aspect of the entire HR process as well, where we have implemented AI?
Sure. So, yeah, that's a great question. AI is a talk of town these days, and all the towns on the globe. Uh, yes. So, after, the last few years, like it was an unprecedented time for whole humanity, as I said, and technology came as a savior for us, and we were able to continue our work, and it influenced the way we work, right? So similarly, I feel this AI, the way of AI transformation, it is gonna definitely influence the way we work. And a few months back, yes, we at Maximess, we have embarked on this journey. I think because, there is no organization which can, avoid this AI-based transformation anymore. They will have to, get on it in order to stay relevant and ahead of the curve. So what we did is we started gradually implementing it. There are 3 areas we are eyeing to implement AI for in the whole, life cycle, employee life cycle. The very first thing is, yes, recruitment. We are using it in recruitment, especially in the assessment part. So there are tools like Coder is there, IMOCA is there, and there are many more tools which help you with which you conduct the coding interview, live coding interview, and it gives you the complete analysis report, the AI-based report you get, which helps you assessment of the candidate. And gradually we are shifting towards introducing bot-based interviews in our assessment process. So that is the next thing we are eyeing for. Then there is a next area that is in productivity. So we all know AI is fundamentally it is to aid your productivity. So recently we conducted an internal hackathon in our organization wherein one of our team worked on how we can do efficient software development, be it coding or testing. So they worked on that, and now we are considering to make those practices part of our SOPs when it comes to delivery part. And the third thing which we haven't done, but next thing we are considering, like in the engagement part, is to implement AI-based tools for the sentiment analysis. The organizations like Great Place to Work and the Kaizen, and there are many more. They have these kind of tools in place with which you can see the real time. You can assess real time pulse of your workforce with having an engaging question with them and analyzing the sentiment. So these are the immediate candidates that we have for this AI transformation journey, and I know that there are many more that we will adopt down the line.
Interesting, very nice to share. So obviously it is something that is been the talk there and focusing on. One thing that we had tried to implement on the AI side is again at a POC stage where we actually created a tool, feeded all our entire policy documents out there. So any new member, so inductions are anyways overwhelming for new joiners. So anyone wants to know that, okay, what is the option of applying for a sabbatical leave? Can I get a loan for doing this? Right? I want to change my project where I need to do. So feeding that, and like, because there's a line of guidelines that you have, a lot of PDF documents happening in, but that was something which was very cool, and my R&D team actually could build a POC in 5 days. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to utilize it. So great idea. And I'm sure sentimental analysis is something where it needs to be picked up. So just being mindful of time, we have 10 minutes left, and I have a couple of questions from the audience also that to be catered to. So probably one question, Amit, coming to you, be the last one, focusing on the strategies, attaching different generations, right? These are the people who are called the Snapchat generation, right? Where they're focusing on those areas. How do you attach them to the bigger purpose of the organization? How do you connect their roles and aligning them to the core values and ethics that you started your conversation with? Any thought?
So yeah. So here goes. So 25% of our team members are from this group at the moment, and this percentage is gaining ground.
Yeah.
Now, I read an article recently in a very prominent publication headlined that Gen Z are the most difficult generation for managers to work with. This conclusion was drawn probably from some large survey that the publication had carried out. It was a prominent publication. And in a humble manner, I'd like to disagree with that survey, because maybe the correct interpretation possibly could be that this is the generation which is holding a mirror to the organizations, to senior managers, possibly calling out their biases, poor communication, and laziness even. And hence, I would be careful before first stereotyping Gen Z. See, I used the word Z. I'm still not, the Gen Z is probably half my age. So I'm not sure if I'm the best place to answer this question, but let me attempt. So let's imagine a situation where we have, sent out, as an HR lead, I have sent out 3 offer letters. And on the date of joining, none of them join. None of them turn up. And we've seen all of this. It can be very infuriating, of course. And next day in my meeting with my key team members, I blurt out, "Aajkal sab aise hi hote hai." No integrity, no belief in commitments, and so on and so forth. So this is an example of dangerous stereotyping. Words spread easily, and all I would have done is ended up upsetting people in our organization who have accepted the offer, joined respectfully on their day, and are currently working with us. So I think the first thing is, with this negative stereotyping, is something that possibly we might have to be aware of and be careful with that. Now, based on our experience, we would like to believe that Gen Z in India is a little different than the Gen Z outside the country or in the Western developed nations. Couple of factors. Contrary to perceptions, most are not wasteful with their money. They are trying to balance today and tomorrow to the extent possible. Most of them are resourceful, independent, and can find their way. They deeply respectful mentoring, and even authoritative mentoring, but dislike micromanaging. Most of them can see through some hyped up marketing and branding of cultural workplaces as well. I think they care a little less about concepts such as a higher sense of purpose, mission statements, fun and work, etc. Growth, transparency, and trust probably are mattering a little bit more. Most of them have clear opinions, but are happy to hear the side if patiently reasoned. And yes, they are impatient for growth, and hence we see attrition increasing quite a lot recently. So according to me, according to our experience, the organization would have defined a purpose, which would be like taking care of the customer problems in an efficient manner, disrupting technologies, and so on and so forth. But as far as the purpose for the team members are concerned, I believe that there are 3 purposes that the team members are focusing on. First, there is a keen desire to learn, almost an unreal desire to learn. Second, there is a keen desire to work with a mentor and an environment in a respectful manner, which can take care of their growth. And third, it may not be very obvious, but they are keen to get into a position to be able to help others as well. The first 2 is going to bring them more money, and the third one is going to bring them satisfaction and joy. So what we have done as far as our organization is concerned is we have invested heavily, as Reena had rightly mentioned, in training, give the right projects. So on training, upgrading the skills, there is an elaborate matrix, which is in an autopilot mode. We continue training them till even a point that they become highly sought after in the market as well. And that's fine, that's the way it is. And second thing is, we have tried to create an environment where it is very convenient, or very, looking out for each other is an important, important aspect that we are focusing on. Nobody is going to get left behind by helping the other person. And it is on the organization to be able to detect that, encourage that, and reward that behavior along the way, as well as during appraisals and upgradation of compensation as well. So this is my view on the Gen Z generation. Yes,
Yeah.
Kanupriya, over to you.
Good. Thank you so much. I love, and I'm sure most of Gen Z probably attending the audience would relate to. I see a lot of thumbs up coming for you on your comment there, Amit. Mayank Rai in the audience had a question very related to what you said. Is like one of the major challenges SMEs have is investing on the lack of resources and infra for training. And I learned during our conversation, you have actually formally built up a training piece there. So as SME, some tips as how, if you want to start investing on it, what is going to be your first baby step towards heading in that direction?
I think it's a very important question, and I'm glad somebody's asked this. So obviously, we are going to do everything in our power to retain good people. They're very important. Even in our organization, we've got a very good length of association stay. So that obviously goes without saying. We do everything to retain good team members. We've got a core team of 18 team members representing all departments and whatnot. However, the organization also has to plan in the event of attrition, changes, etc. So what we've done about a decade ago, we invested in and created our own in-house training and development division. The mandate for this division was to not only train new and existing team members, but also train external students and professionals in the tools, technologies, and domains that we cater to, thus becoming an independent revenue center. I will not use the word profit center because the profitability is not the goal of the division, but every revenue is welcome, and if if that can help subsidize the training, even better. So thus becoming an independent revenue center. More than that, over time, this division has become an ecosystem of resources in itself, with more than 100,000 connections with professionals, industry, and academia. This is the division where we say is that we farm and source our own skills. So we create our own skills right from scratch. This provides us access to talent faster, quicker, thus protecting revenue streams and despite attrition that keeps coming up. So I would strongly recommend this particular model to be thought about if possible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I have an added point over there, if you may allow.
Yes, please. Yes, please, Rahul.
Yeah. So as Amit said, I think for SMEs, it is very important to understand understand the need and importance of the dedicated efforts that we need to put into the L&D division, the organization. And we have also been through this state, but there is a different take I have here to share on this point. Like, if you feel like, okay, the bus is missed, probably, we were not able to build a complete full-fledged L&D ecosystem. What happened with us is we tried doing all these trainings. Okay, may I know if I'm audible because my screen is freezed.
We can hear you, but your video is freezed, Rahul, but we can still hear you.
Hello.
Yes, Rahul, we can hear you, but your video is freezed.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah. Rahul, we can hear you. Looks like connection.
Yeah, he did.
Right. In the meanwhile, there's another question that has come, and Reena, Amit, feel free to pick up. Is any special techniques or approaches to convert your offered candidates to joiners?
Wish if we get this answer from here. But yeah, I guess transparency. And that's what I keep telling my HR team, my team of recruiters. We have to be transparent. We cannot make them fool. If we expect them to give us this, the right papers, right commitment, right everything, we need to give them that. Otherwise, so HR means he bante rahenge. I'll call back. But anyways, yes, it is a very, I would say, something very difficult these days. But what I feel is, if you really talk about the kind of project, and especially this is what I felt that has made change when we did this pilot testing when we started telling people, and especially youth. And I love the way that youth want to, come and take over all the niche technologies, and they want to work on that, and they want to take these challenges. So I think the more you tell them transparently the type of project they're going to work on, the company's vision, what kind of strategy we follow, they would want to. And of course, the competitive salary is something. Who doesn't want it? Everybody wants it, right? Somebody would say it and somebody would not say it, but at the end of the day, they want it. They want recognition also. But I feel the more transparent you are with them during the hiring, it would be better. There are times we have to hire only project-based. There are times we tell them in advance that, the client is going to finally make the decision. So we have to tell them so that if they have to, then let them choose. Let them choose whether they want to fight that client round or not. And because maybe the client says no, then they lose the other offer they had in hand. So let them choose. I feel these are the small things and tips which I felt, at least in our organization, worked when there was a time where we were getting like a lot of denials, and the thing we changed was only this thing. And today we have very less denial.
Yeah, I think I second what Reena has said. I don't think we can do much about somebody accepting the offer and not joining. We have discussed this internally. As I mentioned, it can be very infuriating. But I think a very effective conversation, clear conversation on various aspects, the journey, what the person can expect, the candidate can expect when the person becomes a part of the organization, if there is clarity and the type of projects, that is the only recourse, according to me, Doctor.
Perfect. Perfect. So we have a couple of more questions. You'd probably answer them offline or take it with the speaker members there. So reaching towards the conclusion, let me get going and a little extra charge with some rapid fire questions where I would like all the three panelists along with me, Reena, Amit, and Rahul, to answer that. This is the order I see you guys on my screen and the faces. So here we come. So I'll give you some questions. One word, one liner answers is what I'll need. And I would like you guys to go real rapid fire, quick win. And team, the audience, that's our way to conclude the session with some key takeaways for you. So first question, here we go. Purpose-driven mission or competitive salaries. What motivates the next generation to choose an employer?
Competitive.
Mission with competitive salaries. Mission with competitive salaries.
Oh, you're choosing both, Reena.
While my heart wants to choose purpose-driven mission, but competitive salary.
Amit.
Yeah, even
Competitive salaries without doubt.
Okay. Flexibility or stability? What does the next generation value more?
Flexibility.
Flexibility.
I hope you said that we have to go in this order, otherwise I would let Amit already.
Yeah,
Okay.
even I was wondering for that.
Okay.
No, we let the lady lead. So Reena, Amit, and Rahul.
All right. Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Flexibility.
I believe the next generation wants both, but I do suspect that flexibility is increasingly winning the race.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's same, like flexibility. My answer is also
Oh
flexibility.
my God. Oh my God. We are getting consensus here. So as takeaways. So annual employee recognition awards versus spot bonuses.
So actually, none of them.
Spot bonus is a trophy.
Is a trophy. Okay.
Spot bonus and a trophy. So recognition and spot bonuses.
Okay. Sorry, so none actually. We have avoided any award such as best employee, best team member, most efficient. We somewhere feel it's a little detrimental. We have variable bonuses for every team member. An award recognize only one metric, the length of stay. So that's the, all of the recognition is to come in the compensation. Yeah.
Oh my God. So loyalty is winning in here. Yes.
Yeah, so we have loyalty, like we have teamwork awards more, but then of course spot bonuses attract people more.
Okay. Rahul.
Kanupriya, yeah, I have a little different answer. All these recognition, award, and spot bonuses, I think these are important, but more fundamental to that, and immediate pat on the back by your manager, what matters most, I think.
Okay. Okay. Very good. 360-degree annual appraisal versus agile performance monitoring. What do you do today and what do you aspire for?
Agile performance, we started at 360, but now we are moving to agile performance monitoring both ways. Like 360 with agile performance monitoring.
Yeah, so we have direct thrice a year one-to-one conversation with respective leaders. We believe 360 degrees is slightly detrimental, but we would love agile performance monitoring, and I think we are going to adopt that soon.
Super.
Yeah, and for me, like it's been an year, we opted for agile performance monitoring, the KRA KPI based performance system we leverage for this performance management, agile based performance management.
Perfect. Salary numbers in an organization. Should it be confidential or put on the notice board? Public.
Confidential, don't have guts to do it public.
So we urge team members to discuss compensation only with their respective decision-making leader. We believe that helps the team member in the long run as well. So confidential.
Yeah,
And we do discuss with the managers before doing the appraisals. We do discuss with the manager and they discuss with the manager. But putting it on the notice board, no. For now, no.
Yeah, Kanupriya, I don't have a different answer. I second this, guys.
Nice. But do you guys think that does it really stay confidential? Do peers don't talk about it? Do they don't know about each other's?
It does not stay confidential.
As
20 minutes,
It is,
20 minutes and they know it. 20 minutes is the max time and they know it.
it is officially
Probably
confidential,
as
informally becomes public.
So probably as HR leaders, we are probably satisfying our own egos by putting that message just as strictly confidential, and we do not expect it.
That is why we don't even put this message, because we know that it's going to go out. Anyways, they do discuss. It's a small company, so people would definitely discuss. You create a bond and you expect people not to discuss, then it's wrong. So heart of heart, we know that they are going to discuss.
At least in the discussions, nobody can say that X is getting Y, so why not? So at least that would not be the case.
Yeah.
Okay, but that's where I think the generation is becoming really open and transparent about what the benefits are.
I agree.
Right? So tech guru programs where the seniors mentors the juniors versus the concept of reverse mentoring, where a junior probably helping the senior when it comes to digital invasions or kind of deliberating what is practiced in your organization, the tech guru mentoring or the reverse mentoring.
See, working with Google generation who is exploring ChatGPT, I don't think Guru has any age, so I would say Tech Guru without age bracket.
You're making exception in all my questions.
No. So I would say without my entire. So I feel I am the oldest in the organization because they are mostly 25 to 35. So I would say Tech Guru without age bracket.
Okay.
So we had never heard of reverse mentoring so far, but it sounds very interesting and should be attempted.
Perfect. Thank you, Amit.
Yeah. So my response would be, Kanupriya, the exception would be because, reality comes in gray shade. Always it's not black and white. So for us, it is collaborative learning. Everyone is learning from everyone, be it senior, junior. That is what we practice.
Yeah,
that's what peer-to-peer learning. Yeah.
Okay, one unique employee benefit from each one of you that your company offers, something unique, something that stands, which you feel is not being practiced in other organizations. One benefit, irrespective of which spectrum in the HR domain it is.
Frankly speaking, I think most of the companies are doing really good when it comes to it, but I would say chance to grow and freedom to explore. I mean, I would not say perks, I would not say wellness plans, because if I say that there's multiple organizations who are doing it, so one good thing, and that's what the survey says in my company, it's freedom to explore and choosing their own technology. And so I would say that's perk bigger.
Okay, so in our organization, we have avoided contract employees. All of our team members are on our payrolls. And each of them, I do not know if this is unique, but each of them has access to 3 insurances: accident, medical, and term life as well. Term life is actually a much appreciated insurance and provides a strong psychological safety net as well. Insurance brokers typically don't promote this, probably because of lower commission. We strongly recommend.
Yeah, that's what I said. Let's see, even his company has term insurance and wellness plan. So even if I say that, but yeah, this is one thing which I really agree with Amit. We saw a very different change in the company when we announced the term insurance plan.
Excellent. No, that's good to know.
Yes, Rahul.
Yeah. So yes, I mean, there are, I think, many benefits and perks that we offer. However, what I would like to mention here is the value that we offer to our employees. there is one very specific value, and that is about offering them an environment and avenues for fearless expression. We do it formally as well as informally. Informally, we have a culture of approachability. They can approach anyone and speak out. And then there is a formal avenue of an anonymous question that we follow. Every open house, every quarter, we respond to every anonymous question that we receive from employees. So that's the kind of environment we offer as a value to our associates.
Very true. Flexibility breeds loyalty. So eventually, if that freedom and flexibility and openness is there, it brings in retention in the system. And last question. Thank you, audience, for being so patient. We are already 9 minutes over the time. Describe your own company culture in just 3 words that resonates with the next generation. And that would be the sum up from all our 4 of our panelists to conclude. And we would love to get connected with each one of you as our audience on our LinkedIns and collaboratively learn and grow together. So last 3 words that describes your culture. Over to you, Reena.
Progressive, innovative, multicultural.
Progressive, innovative, multicultural. Yes. Amit.
We trust you.
Wow. We trust you.
Yes. Because I think the first step has to be taken by the organization, and then the onus is on everybody who's connected with it.
Awesome. Rahul.
So, because you asked for 3 words, it is definitely a purpose, flexibility, and growth-oriented environment. But if you would have, there is a one hashtag we practice. We have a big wall wherein this hashtag is written, that is together formidable. So we offer an environment for this young generation, join this team of Avengers, having everyone with a different competency, and we all are on the mission. So the hashtag that we practice is together formidable.
Wow. So that's the superhero team there coming up. So on behalf of NASSCOM and the entire team, special thanks to all the great audience. There are 2-3 questions in the audience that we could not take in. It's been an amazing interactive session. Thank you, Sudhir, Sumit, Mayank, Priyanka, Ayush, Seema, Manoj, Yogesh, Pratap, Virginia, Seema, Gagan, Devesh, Sudhir, Nidhi, Yogesh, again, Devesh, Methili, Virginia, Jitendra, a lot of them here in the talents will have made it a real amazing session for all of us to attend in. Thank you so much. You guys have been an amazing audience, and deep heartfelt thanks to my dedicated friends and panelists here for being such a gracious speakers and taking all my hard questions with such high passion and spirit. Thank you so much. Over to you, Saurav.
Yeah, thank you, Kanupriya. Thank you very much. And I must appreciate everyone joining us today. And special thanks to all the audience and the panelists alike. And you did a fantastic job, Kanupriya, as ever. You were lively. And thanks for making this an enriching experience for all of us. I thoroughly enjoyed myself. Very insightful, and I believe that it has done the trick for our audience and SME members as well. Yeah, thank you again. And I would like to tell you that we are going to post the recordings, the session recordings on our YouTube channels. That is NASSCOM SME Connect. Please like and share, the channel for your future references there, and to follow all the videos that we post on our social media. And thank you again. And I urge everyone to stay connected with NASSCOM SME Forum and on various capacity, and follow us on our initiatives. Thank you again, and have a great evening. Bye-bye. Take care.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.